Welcome. I know you might be using Google Classroom and want to create a more realistic environment for teachers, which is yourself, and also for your students. And so Google Breakout Rooms is a good extension to have in terms of creating an environment that seems close to the real face-to-face environment. Now, what I'll be doing today is to demonstrate how to install and also how to use Google Breakout Rooms. Now, it is a very good feature to have because it provides you with a simulation of having smaller groups within a larger group. Just the same way or similar way you'll have your general class and, and have your kids break off into smaller groups. So the first thing you want to go is to go into your classroom on your Google. So go into Google Classroom, go into a specific class. I am in a class marked Tutorials for Teachers. What I want to do is to go to my Google Meet link. And the one that I'm having or using is the one that is auto-generated. So I'm going to use that one. If I should click on this, it will take me to my Meet. Now, this is the Meet that my students will have access to. And so now I'm in Meet. What I want to do next is to install my Google Breakout Rooms. Now, all of this work, you want to do it before you actually have a Meet. So when the kids come into the room, you will not waste any time in installing these things. At least you want to plan ahead and have everything organized. So you go into Google. Now you type in and search for Google Breakout Rooms. Or you could simply search for the Google Web Store and then you search for the extension from there. So there are many ways you could do it. I'm going to go this method. I find it kind of direct, and which is a kind of a shortcut. So I'll just type in Google Breakout Rooms, and actually it is popping up. So that's right there. Once it goes into it, the first tab will be, or the first result will be the one I want to enter, and you'll notice it actually mark extension. So once I click onto this, I'll be taken to the page where the extension is. So now I'm at the extension page, and notice I am also in the Chrome Web Store. You could go into it directly, or you could search for what you want. Once I'm in the store, what I'll get or seeing will be some information about the extension. So notice it's a Google Meet Breakout Room, so that's the name. And I want to look for this icon, which is the purple background with the lowercase b inside of it. And so what you want to do, if you are interested, you could go and look on the information that relates to this breakout room. And so it will give some features about the breakout rooms and also some things that you might need to know. You will also see the name of the developer. You also see the size and also the updated date and so on. So you can look at those things if it's very important to you, and it's a means of learning more. The next step you want to do, which is very important, is now to install. So to install the breakout rooms is to click on this Add to Chrome icon. Once you click onto that, it will prompt you with some information. So what I want to do here, you want to say Add Extension. You want to click on Add Extension, and then it's checking for the extension. And once it's checked and finished, you want to press Turn on Sync. So notice the blue highlighted area. You press on that. And once you do that, the extension is installed. Now, since I have two different email addresses attached to this Chrome, it will give me the choice of choosing if I want to stay with my main or I want to go to the other email. Well, this email is what I have my class attached to, so I could click on that one. and then press continue. For most of you, you might only have one email, which is fine. You go straight ahead into it, okay? So what I want to do now is say continue, and then I could also cancel this because that's just to say, okay, it is linked, it is synchronized, and all of that. And once I press that cancel, notice this is there, say remove from Chrome. You do not want to press that because if you do that, you will be removing the extension or simply uninstall the extension. Now you can always close this if you need, not a problem if you keep it. And so what you want to do is to go back inside of your Meet. So at this point, you finish installing the extension. Now what you want to do is to make that extension available. What you want to do now is to go over to your upper right corner. Notice what I'm pressing on, and you will see the word extension pops up. So right beside your picture, you will see this puzzle looking icon. You press on that and you look for the Google Breakout Rooms. So notice the Google Breakout Rooms icon is right here again in purple with the lowercase b in white. Notice the pin button is white. You want to turn that into blue. So what you're going to do is click on it and the extension will be pinned. Once the extension is pinned, you can actually exit that section and you're good to go in using the Google Meet Breakout Room. Now, how to start using this is this. You click on the icon. Notice the icon is being displayed now. So once you click on the icon, it will take you into the functions or the different choices you have in terms of using the breakout room. In fact, I love it because it's very colorful and vibrant. And so what you want to observe at this point, you notice there are a number of options. First, you have Meet, you have Rooms, you have Courses, and Settings. What you want to press on is Rooms. You want to click on Rooms because what you want to do is to create some rooms. Now, automatically, there is a main room created, but the link area is empty. Why it is empty is because it gives you the choice of attaching a specific classroom to the main. But what you want to do now is to go back into your specific class, which is this, and you want to copy this Meet link into that main. How to do it? You want to over your mouse cursor over the Meet link. So you want to go between link and the HTTPS. So once the cursor is between there, you will notice what comes up. Notice it's there in between. Left click and pull your mouse over to the right to highlight the other letters or words. And once you right click on that, you can always press copy. If you do not toggle between the link area, then you will not be able to highlight and copy. So what you want to do next, once you copy that link, you want to go back into your Meet, go back onto the Breakout Rooms icon, and notice what is happening here. You're only seeing the main. So what you want to do is to paste that copied link into the main. And there you go, your main room is being created for that specific class. Now, how to make other rooms available? Notice you'll see this green button, and this green button is the button with the plus sign that is needed to add more rooms. You have a save button, undo button, delete button. And so what you want to do now is to press this to add a second room. So beside the main room, you want to add those, you may call them sub-rooms or the subgroups within a class. So because this would be your main class as the general class where all the students and the teacher are present. And so when you press this to give you other rooms, so this will be your first room. Notice when I pressed it, a new area is being created. Now, for this purpose, I'm only going to create 2 rooms. I'm going to press it one more time to have a second room. So now I have 2 new rooms. But what I want to do is to label these rooms. I could label them as anything I choose. Let's say you're doing something and you want to label one as food and one as, say, plants. You could go ahead and do that, not a problem. It is up to you. But to keep it simple, I'm going to label this as room 1. I'm going to call this room 1. And I'm going to call the other room room 2. I could even call it room A or B. Does not matter. It's totally up to you what you want to label your group as. You could give them specific name or allow, even if you have a previous group, if you have previous groups in your class, you can use those names as well. Again, it's up to you to be creative. Now, what I want to do next, which is very critical, is to press on the save button. Notice the link areas, they are empty. So once I click on save, what you notice that these links will be generated automatically. That is the new rooms. So you have the main classroom and the sub rooms or the subgroups within your class. Now, what you want to do next is to make these rooms accessible to the students. So the students should be able to access these rooms when you assign the work to them. So how to make these rooms available? You want to create this as a material. So what you want to do is to jump into your classroom. And there are many ways to do this. I'm going to show you the very simplest way, and then I could show you another way that you can do it. So you could go into classwork. So notice you have stream, that is the main dashboard. You want to go into classwork, press on classwork, and then you want to create an assignment. So press create where the plus sign is. So classwork, then create. And once you press create, you want to press material. You can also use the assignment tab. I will show you that way as well, but it's a little bit more tricky, but it's kind of a cool because it's just a one-click thing because it's going to hyperlink. Anyhow, let's go to the material. So what you want to do is press on material. So once you press on material, you want to give a title to these breakout rooms. So let's say you want to label these rooms according to the topic that you're doing. So let's say today we're doing transpiration. So I'm going to label this as transpiration as my general topic that I'm doing. And so what I want to do in the description is to add my groups. So how to add your groups or your rooms, remember I label them as room 1 and room 2. Now what I can do, again, is up to you to be very creative. I can just call this room 1. I could, in the description, I label room 1. What I can do to give further clarity is to put the names of the students within or beside that room. So I'm going to put the names of the students in bracket. This is also optional because you will already tell the students what groups they are in once you're in the main room, or you could assign them to that group before the class and so on by means of email. So what I'm going to put is the names of the students. So I'm going to put the names of the students. Let's say Joe and Jane going to be in this group. Okay, so Joe and Jane in that group. And then I want to create my other group or room. So I'm going to say room 2. Remember, I have a room 2. And I'm going to put my names of students. Again, it's optional. I'm going to tell you why that is optional because you can do it a different way as well. And let's say I'm going to put Jack here as a student. And let's say Jill. Jack and Jill went up the hill. Okay, so Jack and Jill. Okay, so I have them like that. All J names today. Okay, and what I want to do next, and this is again where it can be very, very, very creative. You can just simply press, because what you want to get is a link beside these rooms. You want to go back to your main room, click on the breakout rooms icon. So notice where I'm at, pressing on the breakout rooms icon, and I want to go into my room. So these links, I want them beside those rooms. What I want to do is to right click on this and say select all. So notice I put my cursor over the link and just right click and say select all. So I'm going to select all, and then I'm going to right click again and say copy. Once I copy that information, now I could attach it beside room 1 because that is the link for room 1. Okay, now what I want to do next is to go back into the Meet for the link for room 2. So what I want to go again, go back into the main room, click on that icon, and then you put your cursor over the box or the link, right click, and then click select all. Once you select all, then you want to right click again and press copy. Once the link is copied, you want to go back into your classroom. And notice this take a little time, but at the end you will be enjoying it because this is just a one-time thing. So once you press on that, the link is now there, and each room has its own link. Now the creativity comes right here. In that one, let's say for example, you want to give them different topics or different aspect of the topics. Now what you can do, you may want to say put room 1 alone on a disk transpiration, and maybe you're giving them the environmental factors that affect transpiration, and you could label it as that, and then you could add a document that you want them to discuss, or a question you want them to discuss, or even a video you want them to discuss. Or you could simply create the assignment on a Google Docs with the question and tell them to, okay, open it, look at the question, and so on. If you want to keep the groups together on the same document, that's also fine. But once you create a document, you could create a document in Docs or whatever format you want to. And once you press on the create and want to create the assignment instruction, you could go ahead and do it. Now, the idea is in your Docs, if you're creating different questions, or want them to discuss different questions, you want to make a note for group 1, or for Joe and Jane, discuss that. For Jack and Jill, discuss that. Okay? So what you want to do next after you create your question is to post. Let's say you only want this to go to group 1 because it only has group 1 question. At this point, you could press on the all students and then remove that and select the names of the students that you want to be in that assignment. Now, let's go back to this. So once the links are created, you want to press post. And once it's posted, now the information is now available to you and your students. So let's go back into the Meet. Let's say now you're in a Meet, your students are here with you, you're discussing transpiration. Now you're at a point that you feel comfortable that they know transpiration, and you have discussed and covered most, if not all, of the aspect. You want to say, okay, go into your classwork, look for the material that marks transpiration, go into your group and discuss the factors that affect transpiration rate. And so the students will now jump into the classwork, look for transpiration. And let's say the students jump into the classroom first. They will see the stream, then they go to classwork, and they will see transpiration. Once they click on that, notice the links are available. So room 1, which include Joe and Jane, they will go on that and they will click their room, and both of them will be in that room talking. Room 2, Jack and Jill, they will be talking in room 2. All right, so what you want to do at this point is to press on the link as a teacher, so you could join each room. You click on room 1, you will jump into that room with the students. So you can imagine that students will be in. You will see the students or the participants. The good thing about the breakout rooms is that the mic and also the camera are turned off. You'd have to turn them on directly or manually. And the reason for that is because you can be in different rooms talking, and so you control which room you want to talk in or show your camera. A word of advice, turn on your cameras in all rooms. The reason for that is to give the students a sense as if you're there. So your camera, you turn it on, and so you'll be showing in their room, but you'll turn the mic off until you're ready to talk. What you can also do is to pin your room, and once I press pin, notice it will shift over to the far left. Want to go into room 2, press on room 2 and you'll join room 2. So once you're in room 2, you could turn your camera on as well. And then you'll want to pin this. You could leave a mic off until you're ready to talk. So you want to pin this and both rooms will be there. And so the very good thing, if you pin all the rooms, all of them will be side by side. And so, it's easier for you to shift from room to room. So this will be my main room. Notice my main room, room 2 and room 1. So I could jump from my main room where all the kids will be present. And then I could jump into room 1 and see exactly what is going on in room 1. And I will know what is going on. I could also unmute my mic and talk into room 1, take part in the discussion, ask what is going on, if they're okay, and check on their progress. I could also jump over to room 2 and notice in room 2, my camera is on and I am displaying on the screen as well. So I'm displaying all rooms. However, my mic is off unless I want to talk. And I could go back to the main room and notice in all the 3 rooms, my camera will be on, which is a very good feature because all the rooms, the students will think that you're present. So no one will know what you're doing, or if you're in one room and not in the other room. So it kind of maintains the progress of the students once they know that you're there. And so this, again, is just a beautiful way to have separate discussion or discussions on the same topic or aspects of a topic. And so if you have any further question, you could just leave them in the comment section and I will try to address them if I miss anything. Also, I could show you another method or different way or alternative means of doing the same thing. All right, but this is one of the easiest way to do it. So I hope this was very helpful to you. What is also important before I leave, you can also, before you close these, if you want to close the rooms when you're finished with all the classes, you have to unpin and then you close. So you can just press unpin and then you're able to close the specific room. You will not be able to close unless you close all the tabs. Otherwise, the rooms will still be there. So you can unpin and then you can close the rooms if you need. All right, so I guess I will see you for other tutorials or any other thing that you want me to discuss. Just leave that in the comment section and I'll surely get back to you as soon as I possibly can.